Okay, everybody, welcome. We're going to get rolling here in just a few minutes. Give everybody some time to roll in. Get all of our tech situation figured out. Okay. Welcome, welcome. Hi, everybody. Give it one more minute here before we get rolling. As you guys come in, go ahead and drop in the comments for me. Where are you joining from? Okay, I'm going to post that. So funny thing about going live on LinkedIn, the software does not allow you to comment within the software. You have to comment from a third-party application through your phone. So that is a very interesting thing. Hey, Matthew, thank you so much for coming. Thanks for your support. I appreciate it. Where are you joining from, Matthew? Get going here. Just one second. So I'm in Seattle, and it is in Virginia. Nice. Awesome. I'm in Seattle. I've heard some people are having a horrendous heat wave. It is in the mid 50s here, and it is raining, and I'm cold. So that is interesting. All right. Let's get rolling here. Okay, so for those of you here, let me know where you're joining from. And I'd also love if you put in the chat, what has been your biggest frustration that you've experienced in trying to take a career transition, trying to take that jump into your next career transition, or in trying to find your next role? Let me know in the chat. What is that biggest frustration for you? So my biggest frustration when I was trying to make a jump was not knowing exactly what it was that I wanted to do and feeling that every single idea I came up with, there was a blocker. If there was something wrong with it, there was something that made it to where I couldn't do it. That was my biggest frustration. So I'd love to hear what your guys' frustrations are. Okay, so what are we doing today? Today, I'm going to show you how to identify your career true north and intentionally design a career that lights you up and gives you a feeling of fulfillment. So does anyone here know what true north is? There's a magnetic north, and then there's true north. These are two different things. So true north is the direction to the North Pole. And it's crucially important in navigating because it provides one singular fixed point so that you can accurately align your map. So it's the point around which every single navigation decision is made. And finding your ideal job in a job search is just like navigating, right? You have this ideal job. It is your true north. It's the fixed point that you aim for to ensure you're heading in the right direction. Okay. So there are several buckets into which this works for. If you're in one of these buckets, please do let me know. So, okay, bucket number 1. This will work for you if you're looking for your next job. You feel out of alignment where you are currently, or you're just at a dead-end job. This will work for you. Or you want to get promoted. You like your profession and your organization, but it's just time to move up and you're not quite sure what that next step looks like. Or you're not progressing in your current role. You're in your ideal profession and organization and role, but something just doesn't feel right and you need to realign with what is important to you and what you want out of your career. So all of these things, it will work for you. And regardless of which bucket you fall into, I know it works for you because I know that this is what helped me find a fulfilling job as a project manager. Okay, I was a cake decorator actually, and then I am now a senior project manager at K&L Gates. I love it. It brings me a lot of fulfillment and a lot of joy. It's something that just really lights me up. So this will work for you, and I know it will work for you. So who here wants to save $50,000? Okay, anybody? Because that is how much I've spent in the past 5 years, okay, $10,000 a year, learning everything that I know to help people build a fulfilling career that lights them up. So why am I giving this knowledge away for free? I am giving this knowledge away for free today because I've experienced firsthand the feelings of confusion and frustration and hopelessness that come along with knowing you want to make a career change, but not knowing what is the best path forward. So in 2020, I was at a dead-end job. Okay, it didn't have any progression for me. It didn't make me feel fulfilled in the least. I didn't like it. I didn't like where I was. It just was not for me. It was a dead-end job. I'd also recently gotten divorced, and I was still paying off student loans. And it was because of these two things that I was way too scared to make waves in my career, right? I didn't want to change anything. I didn't want to make any big moves because I had to pay the bills. I had taken my very first job that I could get, and time again in my career, I just accepted what life had handed to me because I was just trying to pay the bills, just trying to survive, just trying to make ends meet. And I hear this from so many people. I am where I am because I have just I've been stuck in survival mode, right? Just accepting what life has handed to me. So finally, after feeling just completely out of alignment for myself and like I had zero control over the direction of my life, I had had enough. And I made the decision to move on to something that was actually in alignment with how I wanted to live my life, but I didn't know what. I didn't know what it was. So at first I thought, maybe I'll be a data scientist. I really loved data. I loved extracting it and cleaning it and making it nice and pretty. I love charts and graphs. I love Excel. I know I'm kind of a weirdo in that way, but it's okay. I still love Excel. So I really thought about being a data scientist for a while. Oh, the East Coast is a horrendous place right now. I was in a similar place in 2019 when I left retail to pursue PM, and I'm going to assume that's project management, right? Probably. Some people say PM and it's product management. So I think it's project management. So I had thought about being this data scientist, but I very quickly realized that I needed a lot more skills. I needed a lot more education, and I didn't have the means at my current job to learn that. So I was going to have to take a $10,000 boot camp to get that to work. But I was so serious about this for a while, I actually started teaching myself SQL because that is the coding language that a lot of data scientists use. I wasted months on this, okay? I wasted months teaching myself SQL. So that was not going to be the way to go. And then I thought maybe accounting would be right for me. I was in accounting. I had accidentally fallen into accounting, and it seemed like a fairly stable career, like I'd have progression. But if I was going to have that progression, I realized I was probably going to have to get my CPA. And when I dug deeper, it looked like that meant I was going to have to go back to school, go back to college in my early 30s. And I did not want to do that. Heck no, I was not going to go back to college. So I felt so frustrated. I felt backed into a corner and just I had lack of control over my career. I felt powerless. I felt like such a loser. I think I almost failed accounting in college. That's hilarious. Yeah, I something about like balancing the accounts like really gave my brain peace, but that obviously was not the direction I ended up going in. So it took me months of agonizing and back and forth and just over analyzing to figure out what my career true north was going to be. I told you I spent months learning SQL. It was wasted time. I was so lost. I was so confused. I didn't know what direction to go into. So today, I want to help you all find your true norths, but I don't want it to take you months. I want you to do it much, much faster. So I'm all about providing value. So I'm offering every single person here a free prize. Okay, I have a specially designed career design assessment that's going to help you get clear on what you want in your career. And I give this assessment to all of my paying clients, but I'm offering it to you guys today for free if you do just a few small things. Okay, so first, stay until the end, and I'll give you some direction at the end that's going to help me know whether or not you stayed until the end. Okay. Second, I'm asking you to help spread the knowledge that I'm going to give so you can help somebody else who might be struggling with this same thing. Please share this event by reposting it after it's over. Okay? So those two things. And then finally, it is just me. I don't have a virtual assistant. It is just me doing all of the things. So I do ask you to help me a little bit. After you've stayed until the end, after you've reposted, just please DM me. Let me know you've done these things, and then I'll send you the assessment, okay? Awesome. All right, so why is it so important to have a career true north? Why do we have to have this thing that we are directing towards? Because how will you get to your final destination if you don't know where you're going? Okay, how many of you have gotten into an Uber without telling them where you're first going? Nobody. I hope nobody. You can't navigate to where you want to be if you don't even know what that is. How do you know what turns to take? How do you know what direction to go into? What is going to drive all of your decisions? Okay, we're going to find that today. We're going to find your true north today so that you have something against which to measure all of your decisions about your career. Okay? So, how do you find your career true north? This is a great question. Okay. This is what I see in people who are struggling with this. They come to me and they say, oh, I want to make a change. I'm at a dead-end job. I want a different career. I don't know what that is. So the first thing I see is you don't know what you want. You've never really thought about it. You just know that you don't like where you are, but you don't know where you want to go. You've never really thought about what you like, what your values are at your job, what's going to light you up, what kind of lifestyle do you want to live? Just haven't put a lot of thought into it. So that's one. Another is that you're out of balance, right? You've made a decision about the direction of your career at one point in your life, but it doesn't feel like the right choice anymore. Something has changed, okay? So that decision you made at one point might have made a lot of sense. Maybe it just doesn't feel quite right anymore. Resonates with imposter syndrome. Thank you for telling me that. Yeah, I resonate with that too. Next one, you're in survival mode. This was the biggest one for me. I was really in survival mode. So every career decision you've ever made up to this point has been out of necessity, right? They offered you the job, you took it. They said, hey, you got a promotion, or hey, we're moving you to this department. And what are you going to do? Argue? Because you're trying to pay the bills. So you're in survival mode. You have imposter syndrome. That's the next one. You don't think you're qualified for the career path that you really want. So you don't spend a lot of time thinking about it because you don't think you have what it takes. You have analysis paralysis. Okay, you have a few ideas about the direction of your career, but you can't pick one, right? You're stuck about thinking about all of these different options. So, regardless of what bucket you fall into, I'm going to walk you through some common mistakes that I see when it comes to finding your career true north. And we're going to get into that right now. Okay. Mistake number one, you're letting limiting beliefs hold you back. Here are some common career transition limiting beliefs, and I hear them repeatedly. I don't have the right skill set. This will take too much time. I have to start over. I don't know how to align my past experience. I don't have the technical skills. What will people think? But I went to school for this. How am I going to justify, story of my life, overthinking things and trying to get things right? Yes, analysis paralysis. So it's very common in people looking to make career changes to have a lot of limiting beliefs. All right, this is a scary thing. It's very scary. So all of these beliefs just flood to the surface. So it looks like what is on the slide here. And all of these limiting beliefs, they come from fear. Okay, it's so powerful because we are designed for survival. All right. It's why we've been so successful as a species. Fear is there for a reason. It keeps us safe. It helps us survive. So I like to think about this. If you think about on the savannah back in cave people days when, there's two hunters and they're hunting and bush rustles and one cave person runs away. They react really quickly. They get scared and they run away. The other cave person doesn't respond. Maybe whatever is in that bush gets them and they are no longer a cave person anymore. Their cave person life has ended. The cave person with the more fear, the one who had the fear response and ran away, they live to survive another day. And that is how we've gone on for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. We're acting off of our fear instincts. Okay, except today, in today's day and age, it's no longer, something rustling in the bush. I mean, it can be if you're in Australia or if you're hiking or something like that. But more often than not, it's something like this. It's a career transition. It's getting yelled at by a stranger in a car. It's so many things that can really trigger all of this fear. And that fear is our brain trying to keep us safe, right? It's trying to do you a favor, really. And the logic goes like this. What is known is safe. Even if it's painful, even if it's not ideal, it is known, so it's safe. We know what this looks like. That means safety. So we listen to our brain and its beliefs that are trying to keep us safe, and we stay put. We think it will keep us safe. But it actually makes it so we just end up playing very small. Okay, this is not a saber-toothed tiger. This is a career transition. So it makes us play very small. We listen to these beliefs and we don't take any action because of it. So before you can take your first step to finding your career true north, it's important to first believe that it is possible. So to do this, we reframe those limiting beliefs. And I teach all of my clients this model for doing that. So the first bubble at the top, it says event. First, there is an event. Okay, something happens. Anything happens. Then we have a thought. We have a thought about this event. And most of the time, it happens faster than we can even register. And this is where these limiting beliefs start to come in, right? You see a job posting and you're like, oh, I'm going to apply. Oh, that sounds really exciting. But then there's a belief. I don't have the skills. Oh, I don't think I can do this. Oh, it's scary. We might not hear it, but that belief does happen. And then that belief leads to an emotion. All right. So you see the job And then you're like, oh, I don't have the skills. And then the emotion is fear, it's shame, it's frustration. It can be a lot of things, but then that emotion then leads to your results. The results could be you don't apply for that job, or you apply, but you maybe don't put your full effort into it, because then it's, it's okay if you don't get it. You didn't really try, or you don't even think about it at all because it's too scary to think about. So I like to demonstrate this with a little anecdote. Let's say you're driving on the highway and it's traffic. It's pretty heavy traffic, okay? You're not stopped dead, but there's definitely a lot of cars on the highway. And all of a sudden, someone out of nowhere, they swerve. Their car swerves, they cut you off, they slam on their brakes, and now they're driving erratically. They're doing all these crazy things. They're being very dangerous. And what thoughts do you have about that person? What thoughts come to your mind? This person is careless. This person is dangerous. This person thinks they're more important than everybody else. This person is going to hurt somebody. And then what happens? So that's the thought. Now you get angry, you get frustrated, you get irritated. And let's say you're driving home from work on this particular day, okay? You have all these emotions and you get home and you're so frustrated. Then your kids come up to you and you yell at your kids and you yell at your spouse or whatever that looks like, on their cell phone. Yeah, they could be on their cell phone. They're not paying attention, right? They're irresponsible. But you have all these emotions as a result of those thoughts, and that drives your results, okay? You're yelling at your family, or maybe you need an extra glass of wine that night to unwind. This is what happens. So there's this event, but what if I were to tell you that person who is driving erratically is actually a mother and her toddler is in the back seat and the toddler is choking? Now, I use this because it's not, some people don't love this image, but it shows you that this event is actually quite neutral. It could be maybe that person's on their cell phone. Maybe there's an emergency happening. But now what thoughts happen if you were to know, oh, there's a choking child in the car? Those thoughts might change a little bit. They might change to something like, oh my gosh, I hope they get where they're going in time. I hope that everything is okay for their family. That would be so scary for me. I just really I wish them the best. Now you have these positive emotions, right? So now you go home and maybe you give your spouse and your kids an extra hug because you're so glad that they're safe and that they're sound and that everything is okay with you guys. And this is the framework that we teach, right? That thought that you have an event, that you have about an event completely controls everything else that happens after it. And I love this quote by Viktor Frankl that perfectly demonstrates this. Between stimulus and response, there is a space. And in that space is our power to choose our response. And in our response lies our growth and freedom. I love that quote. So, reframing your limiting beliefs, because that is going to drive all of the actions that you take. It's very important. Okay, mistake number 2. You don't know where you are, okay? When you're navigating, after you've decided where you're going, the next order of business is to figure out where you are. I live in the Pacific Northwest. I actually took a navigation course with my partner because I thought it would be fun. And that is exactly what you do. You have to figure out, you look around and then you look compared to the map. Where am I? Got to figure that out. So how else are you supposed to know what direction you're going in, right? If you don't know where you are. So you have to take an assessment of the situation. Okay. So I invite all of you here to actually do this right now. So in my experience, there are 4 key areas to assess when figuring out where you stand in relation to your career and how you feel about it. There is engagement, right? How interested are you in what you're doing? How interested? And you guys can do this in the chat as I do it, all right? Just type engaged and then 1 through 4. So like 1 is super unengaged, not at all. And then 4 is super engaged, highly engaged. I love it. And this is really important because, again, you really need to know this is your compass, right? This is what is going to guide you to your career. So you have to know where you are first. I'll give you guys time to put this in the chat. Know where you are first, and then we can start taking steps to where we're going to go. Okay, so 1 through 4, engaged. How engaged are you? I'd like to know. Fulfilled. How satisfied do you feel by the work you're doing? How satisfying do you find it? Does it fill you up? Does it drain you? What's that level of fulfillment for you? Energy. How energized or drained do you feel by the work you're doing? All right, so 1 is like, I'm super drained, doesn't give me any energy, and 4 is, I'm super energized, I love it. Okay. Purpose. How much does your work make you feel like you're working towards something bigger than yourself? Right? That's the definition of purpose. I really want you guys to get some value out of this. So I really want you to do this assessment. Okay. I want you to put it down in the chat so that you can see it, and then, or put it on a piece of paper for you. If you're a little unsure about doing this online where other people can see it, I understand that. Write it down on some paper, but I want you guys to do it so you can look at it later and you can get a feel for, you can gauge. All right, I was this. Oh, now I'm this. Let's take an assessment, okay? Okay. Mistake number 3. You don't know what your superpower is. A great tool to help you identify your career true north is to define what is your superpower. This is your unique flair, your unique style of getting work done in a way that helps others. Okay, other people may do the same job that you do, but no 2 people do a job the same way. You do things very differently. You get things done differently. So each person has their own unique flair. And the problem with trying to identify our own superpower is that we're too close to the topic, right? Or because we're too close, we end up being a little biased, or we let our opinions or past experiences sort of creep in and color things. So I highly suggest that you choose a few trusted colleagues, current or past, to give you some honest feedback. I know some of you are going to be scared of doing this, but it is so helpful. I actually did this the other day, and I learned some things about myself. The person that I asked, she said, you really take time. You took time to get to know us and the processes and the tools that we use and what are our challenges. And you asked us, how can we make this better? She framed it in a way that I had never thought about it. And that was it was very powerful to hear, and it was very helpful, and it's a nice bonding moment too. So I know this can be scary, but I do encourage you to do it. So pick at least 2, preferably 3 current or past colleagues, and if you're in the office, stop by, ask them to lunch, or have a coffee chat with them, or ask them if you're doing remote, hey, can I have 15 minutes of your time? I have something I really need help with. All right. So you can frame it. If you're asking your current colleagues and you don't want to make it, super obvious that this is, oh, I'm not really happy with what I'm doing, you can frame it like you're making an effort to be more effective in your current position, okay? And that their input would be very helpful. So I know some people will be scared of asking to do this, but when you frame it in a way that indicates that you're asking for help, people are almost always happy to do it. People love feeling valued and useful, and asking for help is a great way of making them feel that way, and they will actually just be thrilled to help you. So, hey, could you help me? I'm making an effort to be more effective in my job, in my current position. I just need a few minutes of your time. I just want to ask you a couple questions. So here's what you should be asking about ideally. Okay. The results you produced. What are the unique results that you produced? Your personal work style. Is this the style that helped you create those results? What are your unique abilities, like your personal superpowers that help you in that? Is it empathetic listening? Is it the ability to really focus on one thing? What are those things? And then the impact that you've had on others. So how others benefit from the results that you have produced. Now, you're not asking them about your tasks or your duties. That's not helpful. You're trying to assess exactly what it is about the way you work, the way that you work that makes you unique. Okay. So at this point, I think it's a good time to ask you guys, what is the biggest takeaway that you've had so far? Go ahead and put it in the chat. I would love to hear. And I'm going to take a slight drink break because my voice is getting a little parched. Nada. Yes, very true. This is why even though we feel the market is saturated with the same roles, it's that unique flair that helps us stand out. Totally, completely. You might have your own unique flair that makes you stand out above everybody else completely. All right. So, mistake number 4. You don't know what you want. I see this pretty often. You don't know what you want. So oftentimes people come to me and they know they want to make a change, but they have no idea what they want that change to be. What should it look like? Or maybe they have a rough idea, but they're not super clear on it. Like it's kind of, I've heard some people describe it as feeling fuzzy. They're fuzzy on it. So the $1 million question. Yes. Okay. So to get clear on your career vision, we look at these 5 areas. What type of environment do you thrive in? What do I want to do with my life? Yes, not a totally. Yeah, I hear that a lot. Okay. What type of environment do you thrive in? What type of projects do you enjoy leading? And you don't have to be a project manager for this, okay? Just like what types of things do you like doing? What kind of things do you like being a part of? Third question, what types of problems do you enjoy solving? Okay, long-term problems, short-term problems, problems that are complex, problems that are, straightforward. They just ask you to do something and you execute. Okay, next one. What personality types do you enjoy working with? I personally work with lawyers. Not everybody enjoys that. I enjoy it because they work to a very high standard. A lot of them are very straightforward, and I do very well with that. And it's just a personality that I really enjoy working with. It's not for everybody, but you should know what types of personalities you enjoy working with. And then what type of social impact do you want to have? And this doesn't always have to be, save the whales. It can be save the whales, but it could be, I want what I do, I want people to actually see it. Okay. I want to be a part of creating something, or I want to help a company make a new software so that I can put my stamp on the world. Nada loves working with scrappy people. Yeah, totally. So these are topics that we delve deeper into on the free career direction assessment that I'm offering all of you today. Just remember to stay until the end and then repost the event, DM me afterwards, and I will be happy to send you that event. It's going to help you dig through this a little bit more. All right, mistake number 5. Your goals are out of balance. So what do I mean by out of balance? So some of you may have caught that when I showed you my LinkedIn headline, I kind of said it, I started my career as a cake decorator. I was very passionate about it, okay? And these are all cakes that I did. These are, you can tell because they're all taken with like a 2015 like Samsung phone, so they're not very good pictures, but I was very passionate about it. I love creating beautiful, edible pieces of art for people to enjoy. And I could see myself getting better at it over time. I really, really loved that. The minion cake. Yeah, I made a couple of those. They were very cute. I loved doing 3D cakes. These ones that are like carved to look like something. I loved it. Okay, so I love doing this. I love making this edible art that people could enjoy. But as my life progressed, I realized that there was one really big problem. And if anybody wants to take a guess at what that is in an artistic field, what might that problem be that you run up against eventually, or that you run up against from the very beginning? And it's a very common theme in people who want to be artists. You hear about it in, movies and TV shows. Everyone's like, oh, don't do that because you're not going to make money. All right. I wasn't making any money. It was a complete dead end job with zero career progression. I liked it, but I got to a point where I was out of balance. All right. So I realized that I wasn't going to be able to sustain the lifestyle that I wanted. It was many other things. This was a big one. I was also working insane hours. There were just a lot of things. Starving artist. Yes, totally. Except I got to eat cake. So I wasn't starving, but I was a little chubby. So yes, totally out of balance for me, right? For a while, it was fine. It was fine to be passionate and to be that starving artist and to love what I did. But as I got older, my priorities shifted. And that's normal. It's totally normal. And careers need to shift with priorities. All right. This happens over time. I don't think people talk about it enough. It needs to be talked about. So, most career paths they require a balance of these three things. Now, these three things can change at any point in your career. And my story is a perfect example of this. Okay. I put a lot of weight into passion at the beginning of my career. But as my life progressed, I realized I had grown out of alignment. Okay. I decided that I was at a point in my life where I needed to make more money so I could have the career progression and the lifestyle I wanted. So I decided to make a change here. So we're balancing these three things: money and lifestyle with the impact that you can have with your passion. It's very rare that you find a career at the same time. It's very rare that at one point in your career you have all of these three things. And if you do, great for you. That is rare, and I'm so excited for you. But for the most of us, we have to kind of balance the scale with these things. So the point is that the same work, it doesn't simultaneously fill all those buckets, right? So it's important that you assess how you want to balance these three things, all right? Where you are in your life, what does that balance look like for you? Okay? What is important to you right now? Is it very important that you do what you love, that you're passionate about, that has you springing out of bed every single morning? Is it very important to you that you have a huge impact? Okay, that you are just making these big changes in the world, or you're making an everlasting imprint on the way that the direction that the world goes in? Or do you have a family? Do you need to support your family? You have this lifestyle that you're expected to keep up for them. What is this balance? I wanted to build a career organizing dance events. Glad I woke up. That's so funny. Nana and I have in common being avid salsa and bachata dancers. I used to do this very avidly. Like, I danced all the time and I loved it. Yes, Nada, I can confirm that you probably won't have a very good career organizing dance events. All right. My cat's running around like crazy in the background. I hope that you guys don't hear all the noise that she's making. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And we're going to talk about everything we've learned. So this is a process, okay? For sure. It's a journey. It's a very long journey. And I've given you all the steps to help point you in that right direction. But what's really hard about this is having someone to talk to in order to get that clarity. having somebody to bounce ideas off of, that sounding board, someone to ask you questions, and having others in the room with you just to make that process a little more fun, because it can be a little daunting, honestly, but it can be a lot more fun if you have people to talk to, especially people who are trying to do the same thing that you're trying to do, right? So for those here, I'd like to know who's interested in working closely with me to design their career true north in a 2-day workshop in a fun and engaging way, where you're going to get templates and even more juicy prompts that help point you in the right direction. This workshop happens Tuesday, July 9th from 6 to 8 p.m. Pacific time. I'm on the West Coast, as well as Wednesday, July 10th, 6 to 8 p.m. Pacific. Okay, my goal is to help you come out of this very confident that you know the direction you want your career to go in. You're going to come out of this very confident in that, okay? This isn't lecture-based. I don't sit here and just lecture at you like I'm doing now. It will be highly interactive. It is led completely by me. There will be lots of things to do, lots of people to talk to, bounce ideas off of. So I'm really excited about this. I'm excited to offer this to you guys. I do not want this to take you months of agonizing, like what happened to me. I want you to get this done so you can move forward confidently and with intention. All right. So not only are you going to get more detailed information and great templates and directions explicitly from me about how to move along in this process, but the first 5 people, just 5, who sign up, you're going to get 15 minutes one-on-one with me, where you can pick my brain, ask me any questions. We're going to do it after the workshop, and it could be questions about the workshop and about your career direction, or it could be about other things, career related. All right, 15 minutes one-on-one with me. We'll chat. You can ask me everything that you want to ask. In addition, the first 5 people who sign up, I'm discounting the workshop. All right. So this workshop, for the amount of knowledge and experience that I am sharing with you guys, it's valued well over $500, but I'm giving it to the first 5 people who show up for just $200. All right. That's 2 days, 4 hours, packed full of just lots of value. And you're coming out of it confident, you know your direction, and you're doing this fast. All right. So you can hit that ground running and just get your career headed in the right direction. I'm giving this to the people on the call because I know you're action takers. Y'all stayed until the end. You're showing me you want to do this. I know you want it. All right. You're hungry. I'm giving you early access to the discount. I haven't rolled this out to anybody else. This is the first time I'm talking about it. So only the first 5 people who want to do this are going to get that discount. They're going to get their one-on-one 15 minutes with me, and then get all that nice value in addition to the workshop. And I put a lot of work into this workshop. I put my heart and soul into it, a lot of knowledge. You guys are definitely going to get your knowledge worth out of it. I can guarantee you. So if you're interested, put the word workshop in the chat. Okay. It has to be before the session ends, because I need to know that you guys are interested in doing this. And if it comes through later, I don't know how to get the first 5 people. So right now, put the word workshop in the chat, or before the session ends. It's going to end pretty soon, but don't leave yet, because I did promise you guys somebody else or something else. For those of you who want that free career design assessment, all right, don't leave yet. So, okay, workshop in the chat. If you want that discount, I will DM you directly. All right, I'll give you the link to the discounted checkout page so you can attend this workshop. Okay, I'm limiting the number of this because I want to give you guys that one-on-one attention. Like I said, it's just me by my lonesome. I'm only one person. I only have so much time. So I'm limiting this offer. So Okay, that's limited time offer here. Okay. So for those of you who want the career design assessment, you stayed for the assessment, right? You're here to the end. You've done your first thing. Your next thing is to reshare this when you're done. And the next thing I need you to do is comment the word compass in the comments below. Okay? Also, you got to remember to DM me because there's lots of you guys, one of me, and it's very difficult for me to coordinate all of this, especially across different platforms. So do that. And once I've checked, put compass in the comments. And once I've checked that you reshared the event and that you stayed until the end, I will send you that assessment. So I'm going to give you guys a minute or so to do this. And if you want to share the biggest takeaway that you've had from this, I would love to hear it so that I can continue doing these, continue making them better, add more value. Knowing what you took away from this is very helpful. That means I can spend more time on those things, making sure that you guys keep getting value from what I'm putting out there. So make sure you put workshop in the comments if you are interested in that 2-day workshop, getting very clear on exactly what direction you want your career to head in, and then comment compass down below in the comments. I will send you that free assessment. Okay? I have really enjoyed doing this. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I know your time is really, really valuable, and I really hope you got value out of this. That's why I'm here. That's why I do this. I love helping people. I love sharing my knowledge. I have spent a lot of time and a lot of money getting all of this knowledge so that I can help you guys out. Okay. I'm going to keep doing these live events. They're going to happen, I'm hoping, maybe every couple of weeks so that we can, get that content out there for you guys. So thank you. We're going to wind up here. So if you haven't put your things in the comments yet, we're going to run out of time. And I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for showing up, and I will see you in the next live.